Welcome everyone to this webinar. I'm Adolf Hilary Topel from the Vision Helpdesk team. The topic for today's webinar is auto discovery and asset migration in Vision Helpdesk software. Now the agenda for this webinar is asset management, auto discovery, agent and probe, asset migration, and asset scanning apps. So in asset management, we'll be discussing what is asset management, why is it useful within this software, how you can manage your assets. In the auto discovery, we have a module. So using that, you can scan the assets within the software. And in the asset auto discovery, you have the agent and the probe. So we'll be discussing more on that, as well as if you have assets in another system. So to migrate those assets in Vision Helpdesk, so we'll be knowing about asset migration. And we also have asset scanning apps. So we'll be discussing on that also. Now, what is asset management? So asset management basically is where you can administer and maintain assets or maintain things belonging to the company, the organization, which is of value to the organization. Now, if you go to explain asset management, basically what we are doing is we are documenting the assets that belong to the organization. So over here, what happens is you come to know how many assets are there within the organization, to whom the asset belongs to, who are the end users, what impact the asset plays. Okay. Now, as you can see, asset management in Vision Helpdesk, we are Pink certified verified for 6 ITIL modules, and asset management is one of them. Now, in our software in Vision Helpdesk, we can add assets in various ways. So one of the way of adding asset is you can add an asset manually within this software. Another way is you can use the auto discovery tool and you can add assets within the system. Now let's see how we can add assets manually within our software. Now first I come to this software. So I log in to the software. Now once I'm logged in, so in this launcher icon, you find the asset module. So need to click on this asset module, and over here, as you can see this Hamburg icon, you have add CI, the configuration item over here. So when you click on this add CI, you can select the CI types. Now this is the CI types which is already available within our software is hardware, services, software. So here you can add in your own CI types, which is basically the group of asset that is required. So you can select, let's say if I want to add in a laptop or if I want to add in a desktop. So the group type for that asset, that CI type is hardware. Then you click on next. So a form will open up. Now in this, as you can see, you need to fill in details. For example, you can select the name, let's say it's a laptop. Then you can define the impact, what impact this particular asset plays. It affects the business, it affects a group, or it affects the user. You can even define the location. Where is this asset located? So you can select the location for this asset. Now take for example, if you have assets located within the same city, so you can also add in details of that place, the city, or you can add in the codes also. So these are configurable items. You can add this from the one which you require, you can add it. Now you can define the risk. What kind of a risk is associated with this asset? Whether it's low, medium, high. Okay. And you can also define these fields. What is the life cycle status? Whether it's deployed, it's it's in storage, it's ordered or received. Here you can define the department to which this asset belongs to. And as you can see, it's a hardware asset, the CI type. So you have hardware properties. That is the product type, the date of installation, when was this asset installed. If you have warranty, you can add the warranty details, okay, the duration for the warranty, the acquisition date, when was this asset acquired, and what is the expiry date. All these details you need to fill in. You can add in the state of the asset. Let's say it's in use, so we can add in the asset state. You can also define a serial number for the asset. Okay, and here if you're using the depreciation details for the financial details, you can also fill in these. And further, then you can add in details like, let's say, where is the physical location of the asset. Those things also can be added. You can add in a small description also for this asset. And here you can manage who's managing this asset, which staff is responsible for managing this asset, and who's using this asset. That is the end user details. So those can be done and added over here. And when was this assigned on? Then you can click on add option. So once this has been done, the asset is added within the system, and you can check the details of the asset within the system that has been added. So the asset details is available here. You can see this is the asset which is added. So over here, as you can see, there are different details related to this asset. The asset details you can find on the left hand panel, and under this properties you can find various details related to this asset. So you have different fields, the audit log, and you have the baseline. All details related to this asset you will find here. Now the next way, that is the auto addition, where you can use the auto discovery tool of asset within this system. So how that is done, we'll be speaking about that. So in this auto discovery, there are these like the domain, the registration key, the operating system, the download type. So these details need to be added. Okay, the registration key, the operating system, the download type. For example, let's say you add in for a particular domain, your first organization, the name of the organization, that's a domain name. Then you will get a key. So the registration key is required, and using this key, on which operating system you can add this. So let's say you're using an agent scan. So for Windows, for Linux, and for Mac OS, the agent can be used. And then the download type, as we have the agent and the probe. So we'll be explaining more in details about that. As you can see over here, the agent and the probe, as I mentioned, if you have a standalone machine, okay, so the agent is used for scanning the assets in the current machine, and the probe is used for scanning it on a network. So over here, as you can see, if you have a Windows machine, Linux machine, or a Mac machine, you can use the agent, and the probes can be used for network scanning. So in this tool, you need to log into the tool, go in the settings, in the admin settings. Under the assets, you have the auto discovery module. So here you need to select for which domain you're going to use this module, the auto discovery. You have the registration key. Using this registration key, this is basically required because when you're going to scan the assets, so you require this key. So without this key, you will not be able to scan assets. So basically, this helps you to prevent spamming of assets. If you all don't have this key, so no one can add in assets or spam adding assets over here. So this key is required. And as you can see, the operating system, there are 3 operating systems for the agent. That is the Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. Okay. Now since, and here is the download type, that is the agent and the probe. And as we can see over here, so you get an executable file, okay, for the agent. So you can use this on a Windows machine. Now for Linux, as you can see these details over here, you will get a Python file. Same goes for Mac. Now let's say if you want to use this for my Windows machine, so I'll select the operating system. I'll select the agent type. I'll download this. A file will be downloaded, which I need to execute. Now, once I execute the file, I'll get an agent over here. So you'll get this pop-up. So you need to add in details over here. Now I'll require details, like I'll require this URL, the service desk URL. So I'll add in the service desk URL. And then I require the registration key. So I'll copy this registration key. I'll add in the details of this registration key. And if I click this, check this for staff login. So I need to add in my username and password. So if I do this, this asset, what is scanned, it will be assigned to me. We also have the option for auto login. If I click this auto login option, what happens is automatically, let's say after 24 hours, the system will scan. Okay. And this will be auto update the assets. If any updation is there in the asset, that will be recorded. So this auto login is used for having the system scanned and updated after every 24 hours. So you don't have to do it again. Now let's say over here, I'm clicking on this login option and this menu will open. Now in this menu, you have the agent scan. So you need to click on this agent scan and you need to click on the scan option. And you need to wait until the auto discovery tool scans. Once the scan is complete, click on OK. And then you can come to the assets. Now under the assets, you can click on the laptop. Since this is a laptop, you can check the details, various details associated over here. As you can see, you have the CI type as laptops. The details you will find on this left-hand panel. And here you have the properties of the laptop. That's the model name, the manufacturer, any serial number, any warranty, and various hardware details given over here. The operating system, the RAM, so all details will be fetched within the system. Now if you click on installed software, here you can find all the softwares that is installed on this machine. So even details of these minute details are also fetched by our auto discovery tool. You can find all of them over here. And in this audit log, any changes has been done can be found over here in this audit log. And this is the baseline, that is the initial value and the current value. Say for example, you started with 4 GB of RAM and then you upgraded to an 8 GB RAM. So those details will be found over here from the current value. Now the next part is the asset migration. As I mentioned that there are different ways of adding assets within the system. So we see in a manual way, we see using the auto discovery. The next way is the asset which can be migrated, let's say from another system to Vision Helpdesk Software. So here for the asset migration, you can use a CSV file format. So the CSV file can be imported within the system. You need to get those details from your previous system and you can import all those details in Vision Helpdesk. So as you can see over here, let's say you go to the assets. Now here there is an option of import. So over here, you can select the CI type. Let's say in your CSV file, if you have mentioned the column for the CI type, you can use this CI type, which is already the CSV file, or else you can directly just select the CI type what is given over here. And here you need to click on upload CSV file. So you can come to this option of upload CSV, select the file, click on open, and here as you can see, you have fields that is available in your CSV file and fields available in this database. So just need to map these columns. Okay, you need to map these columns. So what I'm doing is I'm just mapping each column so that it's properly mapped. And once this has been done, okay, these columns are mapped, then you just simply need to click on import option. Once you do the import, as you can see, the details within the file that is there is added within the system. Okay, and if you click on this hardware, since we had selected CI type as hardware, so these details are added here within the system. Now, another way of adding assets within the system is using the mobile apps for scanning assets. So on Android, on Play Store, you can use the VHD Android agent for scanning assets within the system. And for iOS, that's on the App Store, you can use the VHD Asset Agent from the App Store. Now, to show you details, for example, on the Play Store, here you can find when you download this app. So in the app settings, you need to put in the URL, that is your service desk URL. And here you need to add in the registration key. As I mentioned, this key is required before you scan the assets. Add in your username, your password, and avis underscore, and click on the save option. Then the asset will start scanning, and you can get, after the scanning is completed, you can add various details. Okay, so this is different ways in which you can use to add assets within the system: a manual way, an auto discovery tool using a CSV file format, and the mobile apps for asset scanning. Yeah, so I'm done with the webinar. Now we'll take your questions. You can please type your questions in the text box so I can get them answered. So we have a question. What is the purpose of registration key for auto discovery? Well, the registration key for auto discovery is required because while, let's say, if the app is available on the system, and let's say if someone is using that app, so if they are scanning, okay, without the app, and they would require the registration key to scan the app, okay, because without this registration key they will not be able to scan assets within the system. So basically spam assets will be prevented and not added within the system. So unless you have the registration key, it will not be added within the system. Now let's say, take for example over here, while you click over here on this registration key, so this is the key which you will be getting. Now over here we also have the option to send this registration key on an email. When I click on send email, so for staff, you can send, you click on the name of the staff and click on the send option. So this registration key will be sent to the staff that you have clicked. In case you want to send it to the user, end user, so you can type the email address of the end user and click on send option. The download link and the registration key is sent. So unless they have this registration key, they will not be able to scan assets within the system. Yeah, we've got another question. Can I print barcode stickers for assets? So yes, that is possible within the system. So you need to come on the asset module. Over here, you have this barcode. Click on this drop down. You can see print barcode or QR code. Click on this. So let's say you're adding a detail for the barcode. Now here you need to click on this generate barcode option, or here you can get, as you can see, this is for the QR code. Similarly, for the barcode, click on this generate barcode option. So you can get this barcode, you can print this barcode and you can use it on the assets. So we have this option within the system. You can generate a barcode, or if you want to generate the QR code, that also can be done within the system itself. Okay. If you've got another question, can I use my office locations for storing assets, as it is not in different country but within the country at different cities? So yes, that is possible within the system, as you have the option of adding your own locations. So under the assets, you can add in your own locations. So over here, as you can see, these are some of the locations which is there. You can go and add in your own locations, and be it in the same country. So you can add in the city name, or you can add in the codes of that city, the pin codes. So that is possible within the system. For example, let's say this is the country, and over here I can go and add in. As you can see, this parent category that is selected is Asia. So I will give in a title in Asia. I can give a country name, and then in that country, different cities that can be added. This can be done by you within the system. Yes, it is possible. If you've got another question, is there any limit on the number of assets that I can add in the software? So by default, you can add 1,000 assets, which we provide free when you purchase the software. Above that, whatever number of assets that you require, we can provide you with a cost with a quote. You can let me know if there are any further questions. Yes, since we don't have any further questions, so we can end this webinar. The details of the next webinar will send you on the email. So it was nice having all of you. Thank you, everyone.